Thanks for listening. Yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to We Say Things, episode 273, sponsored, actually, by Play Tracker, which we'll get to in just a minute. Cinder, it has been... this is our post-TI episode. It feels like TI was a long time ago, and it kind of was. What do you have to say for yourself?
Well, I got sick. That's my defense. Basically... So we were going to do this episode a week ago, which would have been on Friday the 19th. And ever since I came home on the Monday of that week, I just got sicker and sicker for a couple of days with an annoying cold. And then that's just been pretty stubborn with sticking around. And obviously when you're doing a podcast, if you have a rasp voice or a lot of coughing, that's pretty annoying to listen to. So today is the first day that I feel like I'm good enough to do this. So, but still bear with me. There's probably going to be some muting and coughing here and there. And I don't sound exactly like normal. I probably sound a bit sexier, to be honest. You can be the judge of that.
Please cough unmuted. I need some of that.
I know you would love that. But yeah, that's it. That's literally it, guys. But at least we did an episode during TI like we promised. So
true. And I made the mistake, Cinder, of reading some comments on YouTube again.
Oh, yeah?
And they were talking about how all of my sicknesses are because of how unhealthy I am. As if, do you guys think that we eat Snicker bars and all that shit that I showed literally every day? We're at a fucking event that just tends to happen, all right? And also, we meet hundreds of people.
Yeah.
Chances are pretty fucking good at these events that we're getting sick.
I just want to congratulate you on getting through a whole event unscathed.
That's because
that is unusual.
That's because I no-lifed for the first week, didn't leave my fucking room in fear.
We did a meet and greet and signing session, and we were sitting next to each other for an hour and 45 minutes, I think it was, meeting fans. I got sick and you didn't.
That's right.
So maybe the secret is Jaffa cakes and Snickers, actually.
Maybe that is
need to get in there at events, you know?
That's true. How often do people get sick, Cinderin? I get sick like once a year. I mean, the last couple of years at a couple of events, it's just bad timing, more so than me getting sick more often than...
It depends what you consider sick. If it's like having like a little bit of a cough, but you're still fully functional, multiple times a year for sure. If it's bedridden, once or twice a year for me, I think.
Okay, that's a lot. I was going to say, it's less for me, actually. That's once or twice a year you're bedridden? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, where you have like a fever. Do you not have a fever once a year?
No, I can't remember the last time I had a fever.
I think I probably have a fever once a year on average, at least once.
Wow.
I would guess, but...
Wow. What are your eating habits? Well, how many Snicker bars do you eat?
That's maybe the problem. I'm more into... We're doing cereal bars at home. They're missing the peanuts, I think. That's the secret ingredient.
Oh, yeah. True.
Also, to be honest, there's a decent chance that I get sicker than you because I'm around other people more in general, right? Because I have a social life.
Well, according to some people, if you have a good immune system, you just don't get sick. So, have you tried that?
That's amazing. I should try that. No, your secret to staying healthy is working on a video game. That is literally the best way to not get sick.
Yeah, I stay in a remote studio.
Very busy with that all the time. Not like I have an extremely vibrant social life, don't get it twisted, but...
Yeah, your World of Warcraft raids don't get you sick either, so keep that up, Cinder.
That's right, technically we should both be immune.
Anyway, let's get on to our beautiful patron list, and a special shout out to Nikki's dad, who is celebrating a birthday. He watches every episode, Cinder, and I don't know if you're aware of that.
Oh, he's in the In Bruges tier? Sick.
No, he's not in the In Bruges tier.
Thanks, Nikki's dad.
All right, we're inserting him
episode and not being an In Bruges tier. Okay,
we're inserting him into the In Bruges tier today.
Okay.
Thank you also to Amish Toaster for the most wins in TI Grand Finals. Ame is now tied for first. That's really unfortunate. Crownfall Enjoyer, Disco Farm D, Dop, Empire of Dirt, Isaac Hansen, Janie Anonymous, and Malicious Damage, and Pepperballs, because I have to say Pepperballs.
Got it. Okay. And Shark TM, Sons, Nugget Boy, STGC Daniel, T-Coil, the Megapope, Vlad, Let's Have Puppy on the podcast. He's had that name for like over 100 episodes by now. Maybe it'll work eventually. Wagyu Hater, who has had this for as many episodes as he has too many. wooden aftertaste, and hot water can freeze faster than cold water. This bizarre effect is called the Mpemba effect. I'm looking this up immediately.
That's a weird name, too. It must be somebody's name, I guess.
That is actually true. Niebling with an actual fact this time.
Hot water can freeze faster than cold water. Do they say why? Does anybody know why?
Do you want me to give you the technical explanation?
Can you give me a TLDR, just super short?
The Mpemba effect is the observation that hot liquid such as water can freeze more quickly than cold liquid when both are identical in volume and under similar conditions. Physicists remain divided on the effect's reproducibility, precise definition, and underlying mechanisms. Okay, so this literally sounds like crypto physics.
So they don't even agree that it works sometimes. That's what I take from that.
There's a very long article about it that I'm not going to read right now, but if you're very curious, it's called the Mpemba effect, Mpemba, named after a Tanzanian teenager who studied it in the 1960s.
A teenager? Holy shit. That's impressive.
Yep.
Wow.
That's right.
Okay, well, good stuff. All right, moving on to our sponsor, Mr. Cinderman. It is Play Tracker. I'm going to open up their website right now.
That's right. So Play Tracker are the sponsors of this episode, and this is honestly a pretty cool page and a cool concept. So we're going to showcase it a little bit, and then there's something you guys can participate in as well. So first of all, the idea of this site is that you create an account, and then effectively you can link all of the platforms that you play on, such as like Steam, Xbox, etc., PlayStation. You pull it in there, and then whenever you play a game, excuse me, and progress in any of your games, it updates in the system. Creating an account is totally free. You're not paying for anything. It's all just standard functionality. And effectively, it's a way of like keeping track of your game progression, comparing yourself to friends, having like, the whole social aspect of that, and maybe competing with each other for clearing games 100% and unlocking medals and stuff for your profile. And yeah, like I said, it's all free. So this looks pretty cool. I think if you're a completionist, you're going to enjoy stuff like this. Or if you just, want to have a battle against friends in a game of any kind. They also offer in-depth statistics. So you can like see over time based on games you play, you can compare yourself to, you can compare yourself to like population or to, averages, all this kind of stuff. So if you're nerdy about games and stats and achievements, this is probably something for you. So pretty cool stuff, I gotta say. And on top of that, we also have a little bit of a challenge for you guys. So if you want to participate in this, you can go to playtracker.net/we-say-things. I believe Sunsfan is going to show that page. You're already showing it. Wonderful.
I'm already showing it. Thank you.
We're going to do a live draft. So effectively, the way this works is the page has a guild system, and we have a guild called We Say Things. And in this guild, we are now going to draft 5 heroes against each other, and you guys can create an account, join this guild, and then play for either team of your choice. And the way you play for the team is that you need to score wins with the heroes that we have picked for ourselves.
That's right.
Not the entire 5-man lineup, just play one of them, or any of them. And we're going to run this until a future episode where the top scoring 3 players from each team get either an Arcana of their choice or a Steam game of their choice to add to their account, because obviously you guys are linking your Steam. So
you're lagging.
You can win that reward. Excuse me?
You're lagging. Is that me? No, that's not me.
No, Discord is lagging.
You're sounding like a... Oh, actually, I can change the server. 1 second.
It's good now, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, how much of that lagged out?
No.
What was the last thing you heard?
We understood everything. You get the...
Okay. Cool.
You get your Arcana of choice and or your game of choice on Steam, which is pretty fucking hype, actually. What's the most expensive game on Steam?
Yeah. I'm going to assume, I am not the sponsor here, okay? I'm going to assume you can't buy one of the scam games for $1,000 just to fuck with the devs, but,
It's too bad Banana Game is free, because I'd really like to play that one,
You would have taken Banana for sure. All right, let's draft some heroes. We do not have any stake in which team you guys choose. You're basically championing one of us for fun. We're doing
pride.
It as a friendly rival. Yes, friendly rivalry and pride. My point is, we are not... you are not benefiting either of us for anything else than shits and giggles against each other by choosing a team. So probably pick a team that has heroes that you want to play more so than who of us you think should
So
win.
we're not allowed to pick duplicate heroes, I assume.
Yeah, let's not do that. That's boring.
Okay, can I go first?
Yes.
All right, I pick Pudge.
All right. That's a good choice. I think a lot of people will want to play Pudge. However, people are also meta slaves, Shannon, and right now people love Earthshaker.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put Earthshaker.
Are we doing this
team.
as a snake kind of thing where you get 2 picks, then I get 2 picks now?
Sure, we can do that. Yeah. Okay. So my first pick is Shaker, and my second pick is what do people like to play? I should have a support. As
they
well.
have to win, right? So Pudge might have been a mistake. We'll see.
Nature's Prophet.
Nobody likes playing that.
Are you serious? It plays every role.
Nobody actually enjoys it though. Let's be real.
Oh, that's fair.
Oh God, I'm looking at the hero list now. Oh, I'm just gonna go for some of the classic heroes that people just love. Okay. Wait, what hero did you just pick?
Shaker and Nature's Prophet. For some reason, the Nature's Prophet icon is currently a little buggy. It looks like. But...
No, that's intended. Nobody wants to play that hero. Okay.
Oh, it's a hidden hero.
I'm gonna pick Sniper, of course, the classic Sniper. And
that's a good choice.
I mean, is there a point in picking support? Do people play support really in pubs? Most of the people are low level like me. It's going to be like
they do.
4.5 cores. So I'm going to continue with the core selections here. Part of me wants to pick Juggernaut, even though, the hero is absolute ass right now.
You're just trying to pick a lineup that is genuinely a standard draft for Guardian.
Yeah. Oh, for like Heralds. Yeah, that's true.
Like the whole lineup.
I'm going to go with Juggernaut then. Let's just
that's a good pick.
Even though when Ame picked it in the finals, I cringed. I'm like, this game is over. When you're countered by a tier 4 item that nobody in pubs will take, so that's why Juggernaut's a really good pick. Go ahead.
Right. Okay. What did I have? Okay, I want to get a true support. Let's pick Snapfire. That's fun. I think people enjoy some Snap right now. And okay, so I do not endorse this pick, but I know people love picking it more the lower rank you get. So I'm going to take Slark because people will play that as a carry and they will regret it, but they're going to be stubborn enough to keep playing it for wins.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. You do too.
All right. So my final 2, and again, this is not an actual composition. I have to go Phantom Assassin, so we get the tri-carry going on here.
Nobody plays PA.
In pubs, you're kidding.
People are playing PA. I have not seen a PA in 100 games.
Senator, do you watch low level? Do you think people, the pro or close to pro level players, are going to be watching this and participate? This is low level dumpster fire shit like me. Of course, people play PA. I make this
podcast for high rank immortals only.
Good. All right, and then I'm going to choose... Okay, I lied. I'm going to choose one support. Okay. That I see literally every game, and it's Witch Doctor. That's my 5.
Every game? I never see this hero. It's so funny.
Absolutely every game.
The dichotomy is so funny.
There was another hero that I'm not going to say until after you're done picking that I see every game as well, but I refuse to pick him.
Okay. My last pick is Mars, because he's fun and not too difficult to play.
Okay,
so I think a lot of people have fun with that.
The best pick probably would have been Lion for either of us, but based on principle...
You think so?
Yeah, based on principle, I ain't choosing that shit.
All right. Okay, that's our lineups. So once again, remember the lineups you're seeing on the screen right now if you're watching the video. If you're listening to audio, might be worth checking out the video to take a screenshot of these heroes, obviously, so you know what you can play. But once again, the link is playtracker.net/WeSayThings. Create an account, join the guild, and if you're one of the top 3 scorers for either of us, you win either an Arcana or a Steam game of your choice. And yeah, thanks again to them for sponsoring this episode. And yeah, we'll have the results of this in a later episode. It's not decided yet when exactly that is going to be, but one of the next few, for sure.
That's right. Good luck to all...
to give you guys some time to participate.
Good luck to all the Pudge pickers out there. Do me proud.
Yeah.
Just play your games.
Yeah, if there's a lot of Pudges in people's games, I feel better about picking Slark. It's actually quite good against Pudge. Okay.
Yeah,
One hero.
You know what?
Slark's
The
good
funny
against.
thing is, I think that spelled your doom. Is the Slark pick?
Maybe.
That was absolutely atrocious.
But now I have a scapegoat if I lose. We're gonna have some stats, and we'll see attempts with Slark and win rate, and we can decide whether that's the reason I lost. That'll be funny.
Yeah, we'll see. So yeah, make sure you guys sign up for an account. It's free. Everything is free with this. I'll put the link in the podcast description for the audio and the YouTube. So good luck. Have fun.
Well done.
Well done. All right, as we go on to the international, let me change servers here, Cinderin. This server's acting up.
It looks stable again now, but yeah, the audio's being a bit iffy.
Let's see. I'm forgetting how to do this.
I think they changed the settings for this as well. It's really annoying.
Yeah, you can't just...
it's probably somewhere.
It's in Rotterdam. Why?
Okay. It's a good server. Now we got a new server.
US East.
All right, that's a choice.
As it should be.
Cool. Okay, sure. Probably in Rotterdam as well.
I should have actually opened Dota, shouldn't I, for this?
For the predictions?
Yeah.
Sounds like a good idea.
Okay, let's do that. Boy, I got destroyed. Not by you, though, of course, is my
you got
guess.
destroyed together because we chose together, right? Okay, let's keep this simple. So first of all, when we talk about results, let's talk predictions first, because we did the bracket together, right? We set the exact same Swiss stage, and then we set the same bracket. And obviously the bracket, if you guys are curious what we predicted, that is in the last episode. But we can just show it now, but we do our rationale we did back then while we had the break days. So, in the international itself, we got 6 out of 14, which was a massive improvement, up from 1 out of 16 from Road, which was atrocious.
Okay, Cinderin, I'm so sorry. I don't want to spend any extra time on this. You will not have a camera for this segment.
Okay, thank you.
Everybody.
This is great.
I thought I had this set up from last time. Anyway,
okay, so
go ahead.
We nailed day 1. Good job, us.
Wait, where am I going? View event. Okay.
Okay, I thought you were looking at it. Yeah, view event. Very good. Very good. And then you click on predictions in the top, the text.
Do it to it.
There you go. All right. So as you can see, we nailed day 1. We got all 4 matchups correct, and then almost everything wrong after that. So we were hopeful in the beginning, but then it all turned to shit.
It was kind of close in the end, though. Like, it was just like wrong time for them to win, but they ended up in the finals kind of thing. Falcons and
we power rated the teams quite well, actually.
Yeah.
Our power rankings were good, right? PV, BB, Falcons, and Extreme.
Basically, we lost a bunch of 50-50s.
Yeah, that's fair. I think any copium here is good. Speaking of copium, you got 87th percentile in prediction and fantasy without playing fantasy.
I mean, I played fantasy. I just didn't roll.
Oh, you made a team, but you didn't roll on them or anything.
I mean, look at the players.
Did you play phase 1 or only phase 2? You didn't play phase 1, right?
No, I did. Oh, yeah, I did. I picked Spirit.
You did play Road?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, got it. Okay, but you picked players, but you didn't play the game.
Correct.
So
I did not play.
You didn't roll on them, which makes it impossible. I got 98th percentile, Shannon, which means I got 1 purple item.
Oh.
From
congratulations.
Tyrion Regalias. Now, my question to you is, which one do you think I picked out of the 5?
Let's see. Of course, it's going to be fucking Lion, isn't it?
No. You got one more guess.
Queen of Pain.
No, it was Spirit Breaker.
Why?
Because he's really cool, and I think it changes the charge effect, which is really cool.
All you do is play Lion, though. I don't understand.
I love Spirit Breaker. What are you talking about?
God. When I think of you, I think of Lion, which is probably why I just get disgusted at the thought of you in general. Anyway, go ahead.
I obviously also got an Arcana of my choice. I picked Juggernaut because I was 1 out of 2 Arcanas I still didn't have, and the other one is Lena, which I used to have but sold. I had a special edition old Lena I got off my hands probably at a good time, and I've never replaced it because I didn't have a reason to, because the Lena Arcana is
It's bad.
Questionable.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm still sitting with an Aegis discount code. I don't know if I'm going to use it. Anyway, that's that. That was fun. Let's talk about the results themselves for TI. If you will bring up the page on the Wikipedias.
Yeah, let me just switch to Wikipedia so we can see your beautiful face again.
Yes,
Closing
that's
Dota.
right. That's all I want. All I want is to be on screen.
We're not going to talk about sets, but they did come out with a chest that is quite good, actually. But we're not going to talk about
That's a high quality chest. Yes, it's very good. Potentially, at least when you think of the volume, it might be the best chest they've ever released that was not Immortals for a battle pass, right?
Yep, I would agree.
I think it's the best chest outside of Immortals.
Very good.
So well done on that. Okay. So we talked about what predictions we got right and what we got wrong. The biggest storylines of this tournament, let's try to... Obviously, you guys have probably, the majority of you, if not all of you, watched TI pretty closely anyway. The biggest stories of this TI, in my opinion, were China had a good team, and Nigma Galaxy was outperforming expectations times 3. And for us, Heroic also did the same, because I convinced you to put Heroic 0 and 4 in Swiss. They ended the tournament in 5th, 6th. So that was extremely wrong. And I said when we did the predictions, I would be very happy to be wrong. I think it's super cool that they did so well, especially because to me, it's a comeback story. Not because the team hasn't had good results in the past, they have. But they had not been good in the last half year, and they just rose to the occasion. And I think that's always really cool.
I should have known. I should have put my foot down, because when you have the sexiest Dota 2 player, Cinderin, which KJ is.
You do love KJ, of course.
He is extremely attractive. If I was, on that side of things, I'd be interested. He wouldn't, of course, but my goodness, he is attractive. And a nice young man as well, of course.
I think you two share this... You share this obsession with staring into the camera, so I can see that that's probably where you find that affection.
Yeah, but mine is more, it comes off as maniacal is the issue, and his...
Yeah, he has aura, and you look scared. Yes, rot is good. Okay. So, of course, what I alluded to, one Chinese team was doing very well. That was Extreme Gaming. They were quickly turning into the tournament favorites after the Swiss stage, where they went 4-0. And Tidebound went 4-1. Then the TLDR on the main stage, Tidebound fell completely flat. They leveled down massively throughout the few days break. And the main team that really rose to the occasion overall was Team Falcons, who had a 3-2 Swiss stage. They made it through, as we predicted. Of course, that was the literal only team we predicted correctly. And they went on to, step by step, get there, get to the upper bracket finals against P-Vision, win that one, get to the grand finals, and then Extreme Gaming. They lost to P-Vision 2-0 in the upper semis, so they had to run the gauntlet. They ran through Nigma Galaxy, then BB Team, then P-Vision, and then in the finals they faced Falcons for a pretty long best of 5, I think it has to be said. It went all 5 games, which most TI finals don't, unsurprisingly. A lot of the times, 3-1, I think, is the most common scoreline in finals in general. But this one was back and forth. The teams were just taking turns at winning until in the 5th game, Falcons finally broke that tradition.
Would you say?
That was the thing I was just going to get at. The finals were relatively long, but the individual games were pretty one-sided, all 5 of them, actually. In that sense, it was reminding me a bit of TI3, which is a very celebrated finals. But to be honest, when you look back at TI3 finals, it's 5 games of IO stomping, with the 4 games of IO stomping, and then in the 5th game, IO only wins. Which was what made it so hype, was that IO got challenged in the finals.
When you end on a base race like they had at TI3, that's what makes it hype, right? That's what people remember.
There were multiple things about it. It was 2 Western teams. It was, the Giants and Alliance and Na'Vi. It was the fact that it was a game 5. It was the whole atmosphere of Benaroya Hall. It was the whole magic of the earlier TIs of it being like, there's still some novelty to it. I think TI3 had the first battle pass, or compendium, excuse me. So there were like a lot of things that really got the fans engaged with this as a new thing. In the grand scheme of TIs, I think Game 5 of TI3's finals was one of the most hyped to be in the audience for. I don't think it was that good of a finals, to be honest. Like, if you look at it as an entirety, the entire unit of the finals, 4 of the games were 20-minute stomps. Like, just teams getting rolled and taking turns at getting IO and just stomping. This finals, the games were longer, and there was no like defined hero that was just broken and deciding every game. It wasn't like, oh, whoever got Mars as one of the contested heroes or whatever.
That Helm of the Dom was so prevalent throughout the whole tournament, and then the finals, neither of these teams really are big purchasers of it.
Right. Yeah, they found a way to beat the meta. That's a lot of the time that is the two finals teams. Either they set the trend or they counter it, right?
Did you cringe when Juggernaut was picked in Game 5?
No. I actually think it was one of the best picks.
Do you think that he built the hero well?
I think his itemization was incorrect in that game. And I mean, this is oftentimes how it's going to be. There's a Game 5. It's the final decider. People are going to put all the stock into that one game, right? And if somebody makes a crucial mistake, they're going to feel very guilty for it. But obviously, you got to look at the whole chronology of the finals, where Ame actually played really well for the most part, right? And unfortunately, in that final game, I think his itemization was poor, and I think they as a team maybe misplayed. But I also think they gave away Naga to Snaking in that final game, which was banned every other game.
That's true. Snaking
and it just ruined
destroyed
them. The Naga was a massive problem. I think Jugger's itemization was not great, and they also gave away a phase-closing Phase 2 Medusa into bans, right? So Falcons got rid of Anti-Mage and Faceless Void. No, wait, it wasn't Void. It was Anti-Mage and... What's the other one? Was it Monkey King? I don't remember.
Well, the final pick, if memory serves, was Magnus, right? Which has...
And then they picked Mag
some
last,
PTSD action with Ame, of course.
Ame...
I just
keeps losing to Mag.
I know that we're harping, or I'm harping. It's just I don't see how it's possible to play Juggernaut without Ags, especially when a tier 4 item literally hard counters the hero, like literally hard counters it.
Outworld Staff ruins Jug completely, which was a big part of the problem. I think if that item doesn't exist, I don't know if that's enough for Extreme to win that game regardless, but it definitely made it a lot harder.
No, it didn't play that big of a role because I think they only got one Outworld Staff that game, but...
Yeah,
it's just the idea of picking this hero when it's like they could get tier 4. It's like the old days where you had those dispel tier 4s. You just can't pick
Flicker
Silencer
against Global,
right?
Yeah,
you just can't play Silencer.
Exactly. But yeah, I agree. I think Jugger's itemization. If you want to look at that game in a vacuum, I think Jug should have gone Diffusal Ags because he's against Medusa, and maybe that would have helped and potentially won them the game. I think there are other moments in the tournament or in that finals that you can also highlight where they could have drafted better in previous games and not had it get to this point. Or
yeah, for sure.
They could have played differently in certain elements of this last game. I think they were a little bit cornered and they were figured out, and Falcons took advantage of that in the 5th game. And hopefully we get some sort of content at some point that shows from Falcons' perspective their strategic talks going into Game 5, right? Of how they prepared to throw a complete curveball, right? They ran a lot of stuff in this final game that they didn't really run. Crit played Disruptor, Snaking got his Naga, Amar played Mag for the first game in the finals too. So they did a lot of new stuff for their very last game.
There's a lot of talk, cool. Of course, about Ame 3 times now in the finals, losing.
Yep. But losing 2-3 every time.
Yeah, in 5 games. That's got to be brutal. But on the other side, Falcons, I'm really happy for them because I find their entire lineup quite likable. I mean, obviously, AUI we used to work with him, Digital Chaos. He's now a 3-time TI winner, 2 as a coach, 1 as a player. That's fucking incredible. Crit, long time. I mean, he's deserved a TI for a long time. Just a good guy. And then you have all this combination of, North America, of course, being represented, center with Snaking. I think Skeeter is underrepresented a lot of the time because he just plays a stable carry, and you have like these 2 wild cards in ATF and Malrine who are just absolute fucking beasts. I find them, even though sometimes the meta doesn't dictate or doesn't lend to the most entertaining games, I find them to be an entertaining team in general. So feels like it's been a long time coming, and they did not change their roster after last year, right? They did not. I forget what they placed, but obviously didn't win. And this time they come back with the exact same roster and do it right.
I mean, they're definitely a polarizing team, right? Because a lot of people don't like... There was that phase where they were drawing out games, right? The Tundra into Falcons phase where the games were getting long. And But I feel like that was more of a Tundra thing than a Falcons thing, to be honest, overall. So, but yeah, I'm with you. The thing I loved about this finals was that for me there was no bad result, because I think it would have been super cool if Extreme won and China finally won again and Ame got to win. And on the other team, I had one of my top 5 most deserving TI winners that didn't win yet in Crit, right? Like that shortlist probably has, excuse me, who's on that? Crit, FY, Zai. I think some people would probably put Arteezy, Ame for sure, right? So he was one of the two were going to finally get it, right? Of Crit and Ame, who are, at least for me, on that short list. I think most people would agree with Crit in the top 5 most like decorated players that hasn't won TI in terms of relative to his overall impact on the teams he's been in and the region he's been playing for at the different times. So yeah, it was just super cool. Like there was no really bad outcome there. Of course, it's soul crushing, and the main story. Honestly, it's funny how we've talked about this on the podcast before. How the way Dota tournaments are designed or structured in terms of the winner celebration compared to something like tennis, where if you play a Grand Slam in tennis and you play the finals, there's a ceremony where the winner gets the first place prize and the second place gets the second place prize, and there's a winner and a loser's interview, right? In Dota tournaments and esports in general, the finals end. The second place team goes off stage and just disappear. And then you just celebrate the winners. But ironically, in this one, I feel like the majority of the post-tournament talk was actually not about the winners. It was about the loser for once. Which I think is a bit refreshing, that people were paying so much tribute to Ame's accomplishments and how devastating it must be for him to lose again.
I think
2 and 3.
Other than the
finals,
Olympics,
right?
in team games, generally in the finals, you don't. You have like maybe an exit interview at some point with one person, like the coach.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just the winners. That's pretty.
I'm not saying it's necessarily desirable, but I will say from my personal perspective, I do find it a little bit of a shame that getting second place in a tournament like this is a massive accomplishment. And I would like to have something like an award ceremony where you have a podium, right? For example. So that the top 3 get recognized. And obviously, way most attention's on the champions, don't get me wrong. But you need to get the losing teams on board with that, though. I don't know if teams prefer to just vanish when they lose and they're just head in hands crying backstage at how close they got again, or if they would still want to be recognized.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen any emotion from Ame, so it probably would have been the same interview as always, which is 2-word answers. Mind-boggling.
He must be. He must be.
Bottles
he must
everything
have
up.
He has routine.
I guess.
With this, as sad as that is, but yeah, like we heard from Amish Toaster in our patron list, Ame is now tied for most grand final wins at TI with 6, because he's got 2 games 3 times, and obviously the players that have won it twice have had 3 times 2, and he has 2 times 3. And yep, that does not make the same.
No, it does not.
He gets silver 3 times, which is still a remarkable accomplishment. But man, I'm sure he would do anything to just get a win once. But maybe that's a silver lining. Maybe he'll come back next year. Now he's going to still, hunger for that win, perhaps. Okay, let's move on to our own prediction, Shannon. We've run our prediction game this entire time. And it is time to crown a champion. Going into TI, you are ahead 30-25. And here are the predictions that you and I both made going into the tournament. My top 3 in order were first place Team Falcons. So I get 2 points.
Good job.
Second place Team Spirit.
Close.
And third place Team Tidebound. And then my dark horse.
I forgot you picked them.
I actually chose them, yeah. So my dark horse was Navi top 8. That did not happen.
No.
And my white donkey was Tundra not top 4, which also happened.
Okay, good job.
So I get a grand total of 4 points, which means before we count your points, I have lost. But let's just see by how much.
Fuck yeah.
Your order top 3. Number 1, Team Spirit.
Yep, close.
Number 2, Tundra. And number 3, you actually get P-Vision.
Yes, I got
one.
You
get 2 points. Your dark horse was Nigma top 8.
Boom!
Nice. Very, very nice. and then your white donkey was liquid bottom 8, which
Boom.
also happened. So
Boom,
you get
baby.
6.
Can always rely on liquid to get for my white donkey. I tend to pick. I don't know what it is. They have a fucking horse on their logo. So I'm like, the white donkey just makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
And they come through more times than not.
All right, Shannon, the scores are in. Congratulations. You win 36-29 in this year's prediction game. And therefore, you win yourself another dinner. And I forgot where we're at with that, but I know you're keeping track.
What do you mean?
I did get you the last dinner in Stockholm. I got you that steak dinner. So
yeah. Did you owe me something?
You're not owed. The question was whether we were going to make this $100 dinner or a Michelin dinner, and you were like, I think you said you didn't want to upgrade it, but I don't remember. Honestly.
I don't remember either. Chat can tell us. Either way,
okay.
Just happy for the win,
Congrats.
Cinderin. Thank you so much. It's been a long time coming. I thought I was going to blow it in the end, but Team Liquid comes through for me yet again. Not that they were needed, I guess.
All right.
I think this time though, we should do a better job of what's the word I'm looking for? Documenting the dinner. Because people are truly invested at this point. Right?
Oh, you mean like taking pictures of the food we're getting into?
And videos. We don't
videos.
You and I are so bad at doing anything social related because we are both done with social in general, media that is.
So the thing is, are you bad at social media if you don't post? Or are you good at social media if you don't post? Think about that.
That broke my brain, Cinderin.
Yeah, well, I think some people would argue you're actually good if you don't post. Anyway, next topic, which is super cool. I would love to talk about this first. I'm assuming you got yours together, right? You have set it up.
Yeah, I have both pictures. You want me to show yours
first?
So
obviously, like we were talking about, we had a signing session / photo session where fans came over. It was cool to meet, for me personally, a couple of my very long time stream subscribers that had been on my stream for like close to a decade at this point. Made it to their first TI or the first tournament that they were able to, that I was at the very least, which would also be TI, I guess. And in addition to meeting a lot of cool fans, we had a special encounter with a previous, or on and off was what he said, In Bruges tier patron, who, if you guys are following very closely in the podcast, somebody in the podcast months ago was named, what is your favorite cosmetic of all time? And he had an agenda with this question, which we did not realize at all. He kept it a secret the entire time. Our answers, which for me was Quap Arcana, and for you was Juggernaut Balance of the Blade Keeper, were turned into handmade statuettes or figurines that he made. And
I'll show yours
he handed
first.
them over to us in a box. Or he handed them over in boxes with bubble wrap and everything so we can get them home safely. And I was worried, but it arrived completely unscathed and it looks fucking incredible. So I'll show mine first and then you can show yours after.
There we go.
This is the Queen of Pain statuette that Adrian made. There's a picture of it there. I have it in my hand here so you guys have an idea of the scale.
Wow, you're actually holding it. Holy shit.
Yeah. This is one of the coolest gifts, if not the coolest, that I've ever received from a fan. And as you know, obviously, Susie is a craftsman herself and into cosplay. And she said this is exceptional, like, craftsmanship. It's like really high quality materials he used, all the detailing. So this is like, this is like a pristine statuette that a fan made for us just because he's a fan of the podcast. So that was fucking incredible. So yeah, that was my Queen of Pain one. I don't know if you have your Juggernaut by hand that you could show,
I
or
do.
if you only have the pictures.
I have, well, no, not by hand. We put it in, you can see that this is fucking incredible, by the way. But
the base of yours is so cool.
Yeah, the base has the Buddha Juggernaut Healing Ward. This, of course, is the set that you and I came out with for Captain's Draft so long ago. That's why it means so much to me. We put a glass case over it because we didn't want the cats to destroy it. So it's downstairs in our arcade room. Makes sense. But yeah, just fucking incredible. Can we advertise him, Cinderin? Did he give anything to advertise?
He didn't. I think I asked him because when he showed me, he gave us the boxes, right? And we were like, we're not going to open these boxes because we want to transport it home and keep it safe. But he showed us pictures there of what it looked like. And I immediately asked him, is this like, do you do this for work? And he was like, no, I do it as a side thing for fun. I make a little bit of money with it, but it's not his main profession. But like when you look at stuff like this, he could have fooled me, you know?
Yeah,
this was literally
you can make some bank on this, and
right?
we'll give
He's
you
so fucking
we'll
good.
give you a free sponsor shout out in the next episode or whenever you supply us with information on if you want that to happen, that is, because these are extremely high quality, really fucking cool. But yeah, I agree. This is one of the coolest gifts I've ever gotten. I think this goes up there with somebody painted me a Life Stealer loading. This was like early Dota Cinema days that we still have downstairs, like hand painted an entire loading screen of Life Stealer. Like, stuff like that is just incredible to display for everybody because we have all our gaming stuff all over the house, and this is now adding to the collection. Very fucking cool.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Adrian. So fucking cool. And yeah, once again, you can just tell, like when somebody does this as a fan, just as a gift, it means so much because you can tell just how much work went into this. Like this is countless hours for each of these. So no wonder he asked ages ago, because this would have taken him a lot of time.
And not to compare this body of work with another, but in the signing session that we had, which was like 2.5 hours or something like that, I was sweating my balls off, Cinderin, and a couple actually came up to me. They had a not handmade, they had a hand fan. What do they call that shit? Portable fan?
Handheld fan
that was actually cool, which I didn't know existed. Like usually it's just a fan that, blows hot air in you. But they let me borrow that for an hour or so, and that made a huge difference. So thank you also. Again, doesn't compare to this, but did have to give a special shout out because my balls were dripping.
Maybe that's why you didn't get sick.
True. Just blew away all the sickness.
Maybe the handheld fan was the difference maker.
That was nice. That was a cool session, though. We sat with, who was it? Pyrian Flax, Nat. Slacks was so annoying. Oh my God.
Slacks Cap and SVG, right?
Yeah. Slacks would just get up and hug people constantly. I don't know how somebody can have so much energy, just never fucking ending. And of course, he's holding up the line.
He should have died.
Yes, seriously, he should have. I mean, he does it so often, though, that he's probably built resistance at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not big huggers of fans. No offense, guys. But we do love you still. Not as much as Slacks, apparently. Jesus Christ. But he knows he has to go over the top because of how toxic he is in pub. So it ends up evening out.
Zero-sum karma game of life that he's playing. Yeah.
All right, so next thing is the announcement and the non-announcement, which we'll talk about both. So first, let's talk about the actual announcement at TI, which was that next TI will be in Shanghai. And honestly, even the bigger news for me, I don't know, you feel the same, that the fact that it's in August again is awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, it feels like originally when they moved TI to October because of COVID limitations, that they've been step by step moving it slightly closer to August again. And I think there's multiple reasons that they would want to have it in August. I think for fans, it overlaps more with summer holidays. I think for most locations, the weather is just better. So it's a nicer overall experience to be there. That said, I would say Hamburg this time was fine overall, but it wasn't great. Like if this would have been in August, I think it would have been a better event. Because, it would have just been nicer to be out, be around the city. We did have days with rain and kind of gray weather, but it wasn't terrible. But yeah, getting it back to August is back to the roots, right? I think that is a very good time to have this tournament. I think it lines up well with the Dota calendar. So yeah, I have only positive things to say about August for TI. I think it's very nice. And yeah, we're back to Shanghai. So that's the second time. The last TI in Shanghai was TI 9? Question mark?
Is that right?
I think it was TI. It was TI 9, right? Because TI 8 was Vancouver. That was when OG won the first time, and then 9 was Shanghai? Or maybe I'm mixing them up. Either way, it was in that range. It was like 8 or 9. was Shanghai. So it's been 7 years ish or something, 6, 7 since we were there. And yeah, going back there, obviously China, one of the biggest countries for Dota, together with Russia and Ukraine. But for obvious reasons, you're not going to have TI there for now. But yeah, it's the international. Valve want to have it around the world, right? And now we've had a couple of Europe and we've had a lot of US. So I think they just figured, let's go back to Asia. And then they chose, there might have been multiple reasons of why they chose Shanghai. Might have been because they already have experience there from both the TI they ran there and, of course, the very infamous Shanghai Major, where Valve learned how to run production themselves. Yeah, there's probably just a lot of upsides. Also, yeah, infrastructure, things they already know about the place, partners in Perfect World that can help them run the whole thing, together with, obviously, I'm assuming PGL still. That said, I think a lot of fans were hoping that if TI did go to Asia, that it would go to another country, like maybe SEA, like the Philippines, or maybe Malaysia. We've had Singapore, obviously. Yeah.
Philippines would be amazing, but to my understanding, some of the laws that are in place would make it very close to impossible for players to get in and out without fear of certain issues. Let's just keep it at that. But Philippines, for me, in terms of the Manila Major, that was one of the coolest experiences. And I mean, I was just there with the team, so I wasn't even talent or anything, but really fucking cool. Like, that is a hardcore audience. I don't know if things have changed, because I know mobile gaming has completely exploded now. But I feel like you could still fill a stadium in the Philippines. So that would be, I hope at some point we can get back there, but not yet, it seems.
I feel like you could fill a stadium anywhere in SEA, to be honest.
That's probably true.
If the tickets aren't stupid expensive, which obviously TI has got a lot more expensive with tickets, which is a concern, right? But if you had, let's say, the ticket prices of TI 5 in any major city in SEA, I think it would be sold out within 2 days. Like, genuinely. There's so many fans that are eager to go and watch. And I don't have a single doubt in my mind that the Shanghai Major as well is going to fill up, because Dota is still, even though it's not as big in China perhaps as it was some years ago, I think the second place result and just the overall, like, China's going to show up in spades for a tournament like this. I think they're super excited to have it back and to put on a good show. So,
yep, should be good.
Not really concerned about it.
And then, of course, the other side of the coin, Cinderin, no announcement for a hero or event or anything. I was kind of shocked. Definitely disappointed. So this is what I'm going to say about the situation. I'm going to put this into two different categories. One is the hero, which I'll talk about second, I guess. And the second is the event, whatever. The fact that there was no even teaser, does that mean that there's not going to be anything coming up? If that's the case, I will be severely disappointed. And I think that's really sad for Dota. But I'm going to wait to see. Maybe there is something coming. Okay. So that one I'm kind of putting aside. The second one, no hero, feels weirder to me because it doesn't take nearly as much work to come out with the hero. Like, even with some of the announcements they've had in the past, they've come out with did I say leader or hero?
You said hero.
Okay. I thought I had Reliquary on the brain. They've come out with hero SFMs, like announcing these heroes, and then they don't come out with them for like 9 months. So does that mean there's not going to be another hero? I know that the last one, Kez, hasn't been really up to standards because it's not in CM. Nobody's really excited for it to be in CM, in all honesty. But usually they're big hits. Like Morta, I think, has been extremely good for Dota. So that one I am more annoyed with, I guess, because I feel like the hero, it does involve a lot more people over a longer course of time, but making a hero is not like the same as an event. It's not even in the same stratosphere, in my opinion, at least. And I know they have like hundreds of concepts. So maybe they didn't want to make the same mistake with Kez, where they have a concept that seems cool and they put it in the game and it's like, then they have to remake it like 3-4 times. So maybe I should be holding off my judgment a little bit longer. But again, is this not the first TI? that there has not been a hero announcement?
It's hard to remember them all by now, but it feels like it. Maybe it has happened literally once before. Maybe
Either
one
way.
of the early, like the very early TIs, right?
I think it's very safe to say, though, this is the first TI where people were expecting something and didn't get anything. So the hero thing for me, because I still think there's going to be an event. There has to be, surely, right?
You'd think so.
Maybe this is copium, but the hero one was more shocking to me, which I'm sad about.
So I think to me, the weirdest thing or the most disappointing thing was that Valve went through the effort of making these cool mysterious rune setups in the arena.
Yeah.
And then they mean nothing, which makes me think they mean something and they're meant to be a teaser for what's coming next. But I just really disagree with that as a hype strategy. If you're putting in the runes physically and making this language at the event that people are trying to decode, and then when they do decode it, nobody knows if it's right. There's like, people figured out, they've found out that when you took the text from all the runes around the arena and you took the snippets and you put it together, it was part of the lore of Demon Edge, was the combination of all the words.
Okay.
But there's no reference to it. In client, there was no announcement, there was no teaser. There was like, let's imagine there was a video teaser that didn't even announce a hero, but that just had Demon Edge in it somewhere. Then people could start like speculating, oh, it's the new hero with Demon Edge, and is it the smith or whatever that made Demon Edge or anything? What could that hero be doing in the game? But there's just these runes. There's a quote and nothing.
Maybe it's our fault, the community's fault. Maybe we didn't figure it out yet, and that's what they're waiting to announce. Once somebody figures it out, they'll announce it. So get on that shit, guys.
Yeah,
come on.
Maybe. Yeah, I think. Yeah, you're right. It's the community. Get to work, everybody. I don't know. For me personally, I find myself less and less hungry for a new hero. To be honest, I think we have such a massive roster and so much hero variety that I don't necessarily mind fewer heroes. I would like the effort to go into making the gameplay experience and the onboarding of new players better. I think if you could funnel that effort or that, those work hours for whoever would work on new heroes into making events, making special, even if it's like smaller things that just keep the game fresh. I personally find it to keep the game more fresh when the framework of the game changes rather than getting one new character, if that makes sense. So maybe more frequent patches or some sort of event, like obviously Crownfall was a great example, but it could easily be something smaller, like the little events we used to have for something like Year Beast or something. Not that was a masterpiece by any means, but it was just something new to log into and try out and keep things, vibrant.
I mean, I don't disagree with that, but I feel like you're making it seem like it's a mutually exclusive thing. They can come out with another hero as well as doing all this other stuff.
Oh, of course.
And I know there's some annoying things with having a hero made, like doing voice lines for. I mean, to be fair, the Kez voice lines are literally the worst in the game. It's literally isn't it not the exact same voice as Dragon Knight Persona? Am I crazy? It's literally the same.
I think it's a different voice actor. I'm pretty sure.
When you look at the hero, you think, oh, it should have like a kind of voice. Like it would have a lot of personality, but they went for the most generic things. Like whatever, okay. Obviously, they didn't want to spend time, doing all that stuff. That's fine. But I don't know. I feel like as a game designer, like that's the most fun thing you can do is switching up the game in some way. So that's why I brought up the fact that at some point they're going to have the facets change the shard and ags for every hero, because as a game designer, that is fun to do. Guess what else is fun to do? Making a new hero that is popular. And maybe it is a bit of the reason they're not as hyped about it is because of the reception to Kez, maybe?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Genuinely, it could be that a lot of the people that usually work on hero design are working on Deadlock, right? Like genuinely. That could be the reason. Is that obviously I'm assuming that people inside Valve have like their specialties, right? Sure, they're free to, at least to some extent, work on the projects that they want. But if you have a team of X people working on Dota, they're probably specialized in specific avenues of Dota. And if the team that is mainly the ones that are developing and integrating heroes, if they are the ones working on Deadlock, because that's what Deadlock needs right now, is that's expertise, well, then Dota doesn't have it.
It's true. It could be.
That's probably a big part of the reason if I had to guess, but I'm not here to make excuses. I agree with you 100%. I think it's a pretty big letdown that there was absolutely nothing. I'm just saying for me personally, in my like order of what I would like to see, a new hero is actually like third or fourth under quality of life upgrades to the game events, and improvements to matchmaking.
Don't forget,
like,
nerfs
that's what
to
makes
heroes,
the biggest difference to me.
That's your favorite thing, is nerfing fucking
well, that's
heroes.
also that. I mean, a patch as well, right? I personally would rather have a really in-depth patch that changes the game than a new hero. And I don't know, maybe I'm in the minority there. Maybe people really like the new stuff. That's fine.
I agree. I agree with that. But it's just those patches come more often at this point than the heroes.
That's fair.
The heroes are so sparse. Scarce? Yeah. Scarce. Sparse?
Scarce. I think either word works.
Yeah, I think both work actually. Okay.
But yeah, let's see. I think it's fair to say that you and I both, and obviously the community at large, is hoping for something to be announced at the very least sometime soon.
Yeah.
Of some kind, whether it's an event or a hero or a patch or something, because it's been relatively quiet. But aside from that, it was a great TI in conclusion for me, at least. Yeah, game quality, I would say, was pretty high. The overall storylines were really good. The arena was an upgrade from last year. I just genuinely think this was, for me, just a better TI. Unfortunately, the one in Copenhagen to me wasn't the greatest. I obviously love the place, but the tournament itself and the storylines there were less interesting because it was, same old finalists, wonder what's going to happen this time. And then obviously that was the exciting part. But
yeah, I think for me, the only downside of this TI, which, I love to complain, Cinderin, the only downside was the stadium. I don't know if this was, I think it was a stadium thing or maybe a city thing, but like +1s having such a hard time doing anything. Like, Nikki flew in and there was nowhere for her to sit. And then if I wanted to go see a game with her, I'd have to be escorted by somebody. Like, we weren't even allowed to go into general admission for the first half. Like, even Valve couldn't get into certain areas. And it's like, what the fuck? And they had all these extra rooms that were just open and nobody was in them. It's like, okay, why couldn't we just put the +1s, VIPs in there just to make the situation easier for us? But
I agree with that 100%.
So that part was the only downside. Everything else of this tournament was extremely good. Like you said, quality of game, production was extremely good. And the experience overall, didn't get sick, so that was great. Meeting the fans was great as always. So yeah, overall, very, very good TI.
Yep.
All right. So quickly, we can go over some of the unpicked heroes of TI. And are there any surprises for you? So I'll just, for the audio listeners, Arc Warden, Drow, Jakiro was the one that I wanted to mention. LC, Lich, Lina, Omni, Outworld, Devourer, PA, who you guys are going to be picking for the play tracker thing on my team, of course. Ricky, Skyrath, Techies, Tree, Veno, Viper, Visage, Witch Doctor, and Wraith King.
I think on this list, the most surprising to me, you mentioned Jakiro, I would have mentioned that. Lina getting 0 games is really surprising. I feel like Lina always finds a way in some matchups and some games, but no. And in a tournament that was largely dominated by Helm of the Dominator, you would have thought Visage would at least make 1 appearance for someone like 33.
Yeah.
So that's probably my short list. On more of a meta level, I will say this to me is not a surprise that there's 18 unpicked heroes. I've been talking about this on the podcast, how the overall direction of Dota's development in the last 2 years is likely going to lead to something like this, because as certain things get homogenized a bit more and the map gets bigger, certain archetypes of heroes will be difficult to field all at the same time. And
yeah, but we're still talking about a small percentage, right? This is like roughly 100 out of 120 heroes were picked and or banned, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking good still.
By no means is it terrible. It's just by TI's own history, this is in the lower half of hero parity, if you will, or maybe even the lower quarter, with how many heroes are unpicked and barely banned.
What happened to Jakiro? I feel like a couple months before this tournament, this was picked literally every fucking game, it felt like. and then to get 0.
It's kind of crazy.
That's quite the
I did not
drop-off.
expect this either. But yeah, it's overall, when you look at this hero roster, not too surprising, most of them. And obviously, Valve are going to try to do something to bring these heroes back, one way or another, or give them, make them more prominent in Pro Dota, you would think. But yeah, it's, I guess, all in all, with my concerns about how the game was going to be heading with the development we had, this is a better result than it could have been, I guess, is what I'm getting at. I think this list could potentially have been bigger. So, not all that bad.
Yep.
With 18.
All right, so I woke up and immediately started streaming, and I saw that this was an article, so I haven't even gotten a chance to read it yet. But apparently, Malrine, I'll just read the headline, opens up about his health, and this is the quote: "I learned about my problem when I was 18 and basically ignored it. Eventually, my kidney died." So he has some condition he was born with, and I haven't gotten to read it yet. Congenital kidney disease. So either he needs to remove it. Of course, you can live with one kidney, but still, this is kind of major shit for a player so young, right after winning TI. Kind of crazy stuff. This came out of nowhere, honestly. I never heard about any of these issues before.
Yeah, and as always, when it comes to stuff with health like this, I say like this as if this is a common case, which it obviously isn't, but we've had other pro players have serious health issues as well, and generally speaking, I guess if there is to be like a takeaway from this or a lesson, is really if your body is signaling something, you got to take it seriously and not just pretend it isn't there for the most part. It turns out the thing he has is called hydronephrosis, and like you said, effectively he has a non-functional kidney now. So the silver lining here is obviously you can function with one, so it's not like life-threatening in its current state, but it's there's also something about like on more of like a meta level when you think about when you watch pro players play, like the human part of this. And when people watch Pro Dota, a lot of the times, you're watching a character almost, but there's the human underneath, and these are problems that, just like your average Joe out in the world can struggle with something, pro players sometimes have very serious. That was also, as a side pivot here, when we had Saksa as a guest, I really liked that episode because of how much he talked about mental health in Pro Dota, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just not talked about. So I think whenever a story like this surfaces, obviously this one is not really of a mental nature, but more of a physical one. I think drawing attention to superstars, which Malrine now, obviously, especially after winning TI, is struggling with the same types of problems of some family member you might have does, or whatever, is there's something human about this, right? So I think sharing stories like this is important, and is I wonder why he opened up about it, because this was in an interview,
It's
right?
true.
That he did after being a TI champion. I wonder why that was when he chose to talk about it. If he felt some sort of relief that now he was ready to open up, or that's obviously just pure speculation.
Yep.
Why he chose to talk about it at that point.
We wish him the best.
Yep.
And I like you said, in terms of humanizing players, there's certain players. Okay, I don't want to go down this road. Not that this matters in the discussion of the kidney and all that, but certain players come off as toxic, and then they are toxic. My experiences with Amara and Malrine is they're just good kids, honestly. And again, I'm not saying that matters in the context of this story, but they are so young. You have to remember, like, Slacks is a grown man and he's toxic in pubs, for God's sake.
This is a great pivot. Where's this going, Shannon?
They're good kids. They're good kids. I wish him the best. It sounds like it might not be an issue going forward based on the very little that I've read so far.
I mean, there also isn't much to read. Like he shared what it is and what has happened, but not like in massive detail or anything.
All right. So moving on from that to the final topic of this, I was going to say evening. I guess it's evening for you. The shuffle process has begunneth. Cinderman.
Oh, yes.
Let me refresh this page in case there's been any developments. All right. So Virtus Pro announcing a new roster. Tomato, Abed, the Hawk, Antares, Fly, and Bulba as coach. This is basically, at least in part, the old Shopify roster. But Virtus Pro, does that mean they're going to be in Europe? It sounds like it.
Well,
kind of crazy.
Considering the roster, I assume they play NA?
Let's see what it actually says here.
It's got Fly, Abed, and Tomato, right? These three players generally play in NA. Obviously, Fly did his stint on Mouse, right? But I would assume this is an NA roster, question mark?
Rosters.
This is a really volatile team. I don't know how much you want to talk about these teams in detail. I was wondering if we should give them like a rating of how good do we think they are short term and long term. This team, I think, either does very well, very fast, or changes. I just think it's really volatile with the player combination you have here, I think. There's definitely promise. I think all 5 players are very good. But there's also, it's just such a weird mixed bag. This feels a little bit like, ironically, Digital Chaos, actually. This feels a little bit like the final DC roster that you had, the one that did well at TI, was kind of like a rejects team, right?
Yeah.
It feels a little bit like these were the best players that were left over after all the other teams were set or stuck together. That's what it looks like to me. And it's weird to say that about a player like Abed, right? Who in my eyes is just like a potential still top 5 player in his position. But I think maybe Abed just doesn't want to play in SEA. I don't know. I thought that was what he was going to do. I thought he said he wanted to go back home, and now he's on VP.
Yeah, I don't know
what's happening. So confusing. I mean,
I will say
team to watch though, for sure.
If it is NA, then they should be the favorites. But the problem with these NA teams is they don't really, like, if you're not in Europe, you're not getting the best experience in terms of not only just scrimming, but pubs, right? Like, you have to play with ping issues. So if they are in Europe, then that is a serious commitment. And I think people maybe underestimate how big of an impact that actually can have on a roster. Who knows how this actually works out, though. But apparently they are Western Europe. So they've already
They are confirmed. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Thank you, chat.
Well, even if they are in one qualifier, that doesn't mean they necessarily have to be for everything. I don't know. Like, by TO to TO, you could technically,
if it goes poorly, region. They can just move to Canada. Probably not
the good old.
Probably not America. Probably Canada, and then you can have a good shot at getting out of every tournament with that.
Okay. Next news: Tundra.
Yeah.
Crystalis and Soxa moved to inactive. The rumor is that Crystalis will be on a different team and that Soxa is taking a break.
Yeah.
That is the overall rumor I have heard that I found most believable, at least. Then for Liquid, Saberlight is, it says here benched. I assume that, I don't know if they've technically announced that he is benched, but he is at least off the active team. Well, what's the difference? Yes, he's benched. I
think will
he's
continue
already
to support him as he looks towards new opportunities ahead. So this is
right. He's playing for Avulus, which is a pivot, so we can just go to that immediately. Avulus's roster is Smiling Knight, Lorinov, Saberlight, Eki, and Janter. Interesting mix. I think this, Avulus has been a team in Europe that couldn't quite make it to the top, but still could make it competitive. I don't know if this is an upgrade to their team, not because of the players they're bringing in, but because of dynamics. But it's another team to watch for sure. So curious how they do. Then we have Talon. Jokem is out, but then they bring in 23 Savage, Q, and Ollie. So the classic SEA switcheroo. We wish them luck. Hope they do better. I really want SEA to have a good team.
I do too, but it feels like you're shuffling the same players over and over and over.
Yeah, I don't know. Major changes in OG. Effectively, the TLDR is that their new team is Shad, Stoikov, Mixa, Daze, and Lelis. And then they have 2 coaches in No-Tail and Hovite. I've talked about in the podcast before. I think Shad is a very good and promising player. So I personally keep him in pretty high regard. As for the rest of the team, I think Days looked the best on the original Navi Junior before that team got switched up. Mix and Stoikov are a little bit more pub stars, I would say, overall. And Lelis is a very proven player, but not so much on 5. OG need a win, Shannon.
Oh, yeah. They sure
Let's
do.
hope for them that this roster does something, because they have had an insane fall from grace in Dota. And it's probably good for Dota if OG doesn't necessarily win tournaments, but just goes
participates.
To them.
Yeah.
New Navi Junior fully. I think most people will be unfamiliar with basically all of these players. They have Onlytle, Game Boy Color plays mid. I think that's pretty pog. GBC. Crawl, I don't know how to pronounce this name. Crawl 9 Ash, Gothic, and then Hyuga Dodo. And the coach I am familiar with, probably because he's the only one over 15, and therefore I remember him. Sword Art, good old Eastern Europe player. The last Navi Junior experiment went very well, so good luck to them. Obviously, the main Navi roster now has been improving massively and will probably continue to do so. Very young and talented bunch. Which goes, that is a good transition. Navi now has Gaming Gladiators ex-coach, CY. I did not see that coming, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
Wonder how that's going to work out for them.
Yeah,
but cool for him to get a new
lineup.
opportunity after the bad end to gaming, I think it's fair to say.
Yep. Can't wait to cast more Got the Juice.
Yep. You love that. New Mao's roster, Crystallis, Mid 1, Boom, Yamich, and Celery. And the coach is now Immortal Faith still. Do you think it's fair to say this is a volatile team as well? I kind of feel that way.
It feels the same as Virtus Pro, right?
Kind of. I think this is a bit softer, though. I have a bit more faith in this team being able to bounce back from a slow start. But I think, once again, if they don't hit their stride in 2 or 3 months, I think they're making changes. I just don't see... I don't see this being a long-term experiment from Mao's.
They don't really have anybody... I mean, maybe there's a roster that exists like this. I can't think of any off the top of my head. A wild card YOLO star. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
They have nothing like that. These are all I would consider stable. And I think you can have too much stability. If that makes any sense.
That's it makes sense to me. And then finally, this one I really don't know what to say about, because I don't... Basically, Heroic announced that Whisper is out as offlaner. That was the announcement they made. So it wasn't Whisper is off the team. It was Whisper is no longer offlane. And then later they announced Whisper is now mid, which I think is pretty funny that they announced it that way. I'm down with that. But they brought back Davai Lama now. Obviously, the way it sounded originally when Heroic had Davai Lama and replaced him, I think primarily the tension in the team was between Davai and Parker at the time. Parker no longer plays for Heroic. I think it sounded like the other players want Davai Lama back. He's been grinding. He's super high rank on the EU leaderboards. Obviously still extremely driven. And as you talked about, he's a very volatile player, which can be good and can be bad. But if that's what they want in their off lane, they're going to get it.
The thing
Davai
is,
Lama
though,
rarely has...
You're taking somebody that is god tier at their position, which is Whisper off lane.
Yeah.
So if this works out, then they're going to be really fucking good.
I have zero concerns for Whisper in terms of hero pool and mechanics. My biggest concern is actually playstyle, because I think Whisper a lot of the time is a little bit on the greedy side as an offlaner. So if he takes that playstyle into mid, then you're effectively leaving a lot of the speed in the hands of Davai Lama, who's a very volatile player, which means that's great when he's having a good lane and having a good game. But how are Heroic going to win games when Davai loses his lane, is my question. Like, who's going to pick up the pace and bring the team back and make comebacks and make moves like that from the core position? I'm curious to see that. Cafs, the coach, made a pretty long post about how this is a calculated move and people might find it surprising, but he has a lot of faith in this choice. The whole team is on board. They decided this is what they want to do. So, I mean, good luck to them, obviously. I think Whisper's a super fun player to watch, and I think he's going to hold his own against the best mid players. I'm not worried about the lane. I'm worried about
it'll be fun to
vision.
Watch. It'll be fun.
I'm worried about the macro vision of the team, if this experiment's going to work or not. But yeah, that's the breakdown, I think, of all the biggest news for the shuffle, with the exception of one last one. Now, I don't know if you want to play this video. It's pretty long, but
video.
Sorry?
What video? Oh, I forgot we wrote that down. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna play it.
So the biggest, I think in many ways, the single biggest roster change or announcement is that Quinn has announced not only that he's not going to be playing for gaming anymore, he's not going to be playing anymore. He's actually fully retiring at, I believe, the age of 25, I think.
The old age, yeah.
Yeah, he is 26. Excuse me. He had a birthday
Close
about
enough.
2.5 weeks ago. So a couple of things here. He made a long YouTube video, like 11 minutes. I guess that's long nowadays when everybody watches TikTok. Saying thanks to everybody he wanted to thank, laying out the reason why he's choosing to retire. And one of the things he put a lot of emphasis on was mental health and stress, and sacrifice of playing as much and as dedicated and as many tournaments as he did comes at a cost of not seeing friends, family, developing other avenues of your life. And that is a sacrifice that he is no longer willing to make. And he reached his ultimate goal, which was to be the best in the world at some point, which he feels like he was. And I would agree with that. I think when Gaimin were their best, Quinn had a claim to being the best mid player in the world for, let's say, half a year or a season, I suppose. Now, they didn't win TI, unfortunately, which would have been the crown jewel for him, right? But he's won a lot of money, so he should be fine financially. And the good news for everybody who likes Quinn and is a fan is that he has announced that he wants to do talent work, and he wants to write and narrate really high-level guides for people to improve at the game. So he's going to do like YouTube content, I'm assuming, probably stream a bunch, and you'll be seeing his face at events. And he's obviously a polarizing person because he has, and he will be the first to admit it, been a dickhead in pubs, right? Which a lot of people really dislike Quinn because of pub escapades. And he's a fascinating example of what you talked about with Amar and Malrine as well, where it's like his overall, his overall behavior in pubs and his behavior as a human being when you talk to him in real life are direct polar opposites. He's really friendly. He's very, he seems very compassionate, friendly, understanding, and just like a good bloke. Just a good dude to be around. He's funny, he's energetic, bit of a goofball. And I think he is going to be a great asset on the talent roster, to be honest, because I think he's going to be very lively and have a lot of takes and some spice.
He could take our jobs,
which I think would be great.
He'd make a great caster, an absolutely amazing both play-by-play and analytic. He could do both. He could just solo cast.
I haven't told you that, but Quinn and I are planning to cast together in the
There's only a matter of time, Sinner. It's all good.
While I figured now that Relic Arena is going to become a bestseller, this is probably a good time for a switch up for me. So
that's fine.
Yep.
It's been long enough.
But I thought I'd let you know live on air.
So I will say, I would recommend you guys watch Quinn's video. Very emotional. He's very well spoken as always. I think I agree with you. He's going to be incredible as talent in Dota. And we'll see how long he keeps up the guides or whatever, because that stuff can be very grindy. But that's something that is definitely lacking in Dota, I would say. I feel a bit bad because when you watch the video, he recorded it before the whole drama with Gaming Gladiators. So he's like, I'm recording this before TI, so hopefully we had done well at TI. And of course, now we know that they didn't even participate at TI, so just crushing.
Yeah.
Like, that's just such a shitty way to go out. And that adds to like some of the bad luck that he's had. Because when he was on Quincy Crew, during the COVID year, they were arguably like a top 3 team in the world. Like, they were dominating so much, but so many of the tournaments got canceled. And it feels like that one chance for, well, I say one chance, EG did win TI5, but one chance at that era, I guess you could call it, for a North American team to do well was kind of just, it felt like they were cheated. So, yeah. unfortunate.
And then they never found their mojo again, but fortunately he found it in EU and got to actually,
yeah,
have a...
As they do. I thought you were making a joke about actual player mojo.
No, it did cross my mind when I said it, but
yes, he did play with mojo on that team, so...
Yeah.
So yeah, we wish him the best. He's gonna be fine. He has
for sure.
He has he's good at talking, so that's all you need to. You just need to not be a piece of garbage and be able to talk, and you can make it as talent, guys. I don't know how I got by that.
The community, at least large parts of the community, would say he fails check number 1 there. But it's what's fascinating.
It's such a small segment,
right?
though, if you really think about it.
Well, you mentioned Slacks earlier, right? Not to go back to Slacks for the third time this podcast, which is your favorite thing to do, apparently. Slacks is also just a really funny, energetic, and nice guy to be around in real life. But yeah, there's just certain people just release a demon in Dota. It just brings out the literal worst in them that they can contain in every other situation. And yeah, for Quinn, I think pub games in particular, there was just, especially so. I think everybody, to some extent, that plays this game can recognize that there's a type of player or a type of situation you get in games that is the hardest to resist. Just letting loose, For some people, it's toxic players. For other people, it's griefing players. For some, it's players that think they own the place. Like whatever. I think everybody has an archetype. Least favorite player to play with, I think. And I guess what I'm getting at for Quinn is that probably when he hit those moments in games, where it's like probably the situation where he feels like his teammates, even though he's easily the highest rated and best player in the game, nobody listens to anything he says and just faffs around and fucking fucks up the game. I think those were some of the moments where he had the shortest fuse. And I'm not here to excuse bad behavior. Like, I still think he was an ass in pubs, and I don't think it was good. And I would say everybody should strive to do a better job overall at being less toxic.
Be more like
but
me.
At the very least,
just don't talk.
At the very least, he is a very nice and friendly person outside the pub server.
That's right. So. He's good at faking it, just like Slacks, who are both demons, apparently.
Maybe they're both complete psychos, and they only show their true side in Dota rather than the worst side. Who knows?
All right, I think that does it for this episode, Mr. Cinderman. It's been a long time coming.
Sure.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah. Remember to, again, the link will be in the description of the video, but the play tracker, you guys can sign up. It is free. Keeps track of all your progress on a bunch of games, which is really cool. And more importantly, for the pride of me and Cinderin, pick Pudge, win with it, enjoy life.
For the pride of you.
Yeah, you have to sign up and then play as a hero, otherwise it doesn't count. It's not
important detail, yes. Your games don't count retroactively. So if you want a chance of winning the Arcanas or Steam games, you need to make your account, join one of our teams in the guild, and then queue.
That's right.
That's the order. If you play before, it won't count at all.
Don't
so
fuck
make sure
it up.
You register first.
Don't fuck it up.
Yes.
And I mean, this lineup looks terrible for you. Just terrible.
I think
you ain't winning this. No chance.
We'll see about that.
As long as this counts turbo games. All right. Until next time, Suns fan and Cinder. And I got to do the outro manually. I got to remember how to do that. Okay, I found it. See you guys. We say things that don't mean anything.
Subscribe. Merch.sunsfan.gg